Jeffrey, let's keep our fingers crossed that the internet connection here in Umag for one more night. And then one more night, will actually do what it's supposed to do. So look, one more night. I'm actually out of here tomorrow morning. Got a flight out of Trieste, Italy at 1, and then a flight from Munich to San Francisco at 4 in the afternoon tomorrow on Sunday. And my itinerary says, well, you leave Munich at 4 on Sunday and you get into San Francisco nonstop 3 hours later. Huh. Wow.
So, that whole time-space continuum, so all you have to be careful of is not bumping into yourself in the airport, because that sets off this whole time chain thing that can't be reversed, and then you screw up history, and then all kinds of stuff happens. So
okay, well, I'll
just be mindful of that.
I'll be looking for that old guy walking around with a whatever. So, well, listen, guys, hey, man, thanks for hanging out with us again. Another episode of the Gold Ball Hunting Podcast. I'm Brent Abel. That dude over there is Jeff Jacklich, and we are helping tennis players actually reduce their skill level range, which is like, what? You want to help me reduce my skill level? No. We want to help you increase your skill level by reducing your skill level range. One day, you go out there and you just put it together, and the next day, not so the day before. And so the key to getting better, the key to building confidence in tennis is consistently bringing up the bottom of your skill level range up to the top, to where every day you go out there and you can depend on how you're going to play. And I actually sort of felt that all week. Well, actually the last 2 weeks here in Croatia, Jeff. I just finished up the World Cup thing yesterday. We got the bronze, which was, we did lose the number 1 seeds in the semis, close. And so we were right there. I mean, we beat the number 2 seeds yesterday for the bronze. So it was a great effort.
Nice.
But yeah, it was good. And then the week before, I played down the 65s, won a doubles tournament, beat a couple of really good guys in the finals, kind of surprised us. But I kind of felt like every day when I went out there, I sort of knew what I was going to bring. And so that's kind of a good feeling. But
cool.
Yeah. So anyway, what's going on with you?
So as we were chatting earlier, and you mentioned something. So that's what I'm gonna circle back to that now.
Okay. Right.
And you mentioned last year, at Mission Hills, at the Wilson, you lost to Bob Chaney.
Brian Chaney.
And we chatted afterwards, of course, because I just can't help myself.
It's true. Yeah.
Well, I grab you by the shoulders and go, okay.
I think your words were, do you want the good news, or you want the bad news? Or maybe it was, you want the bad news, or do you want the not quite so bad news? Anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
But you mentioned that, something I said, and that now it's relating back to this last couple of weeks. So why don't you go ahead and expand on that a little bit?
So, well, first of all, just a little correction. It's Brian Chaney, not Bob Chaney. We've been talking about Bob Litwin so much that you probably kind of confuse that one.
Got a little cooperative crossover
there. So you mentioned something in January when I was playing the Wilson, and I don't think you'd seen me play for a while, Jeff, and it was that I lost to Brian Chaney 3-4 that day. I'd been up a break in the second and coughed it up. And basically, your thing was, well, you want the good news or you want the bad news? And I said, well, there's probably no good news, so just give me the real news. And like I said, you said, well, look, I haven't seen you play for a while, but it looks like you've kind of dumbed down your game a little bit in terms of you're just trying to beat these guys with your feet, right? Just trying to beat them with your legs. You're trying to outmotor everything they play to you, and not really kind of having a lot of swing freedom. Really not kind of not really trying to be a little more offensive with your shots. Not trying to hit winners, not trying to end the point.
Right.
But and so one of the epiphanies I had
not inflicting any pain.
Right.
I mean, and most of the guys, just because of your fitness level, you're going to be able to go through the first 2-3 rounds most of the time, just beating them on pure fitness. Just the fact that you can just smooth the ball here and there on the court.
That's right.
And then, but when you get against the Brian Chaneys and the Bob Litwins and stuff, you're going to have to play ball.
Yeah. And I think that's that's true, and it doesn't matter really what age group you're in. At some point, you have to do a little bit more than just be a pure retriever. And so one of the epiphanies I had here was in a couple of matches, I found myself kind of reverting back to that and just being content with just kind of sliding around, loving the red clay, and just, ho hum, isn't this fun? Oh crap. I've just gotten broken again. And here we are in the third set. And by the time you get deep in the third set, if you haven't really kind of let it out in terms of swing, and it's tough to do that at crunch time. And so I guess the epiphany for me came not only when I was out there playing, but in this team event, you can have one of your teammates on the bench with you during the side changes. And so during all of Bob Litwin's matches, our number one guy, I was on the bench, and you could see when he was really competing well, and it's the same thing I felt too. It's like that. You're right on that threshold where you're not just kind of dumbing it down, but you're not crossing it to where you're going, this is just enough out of control. So you have to find that spot to where, and I think for me, and I think the reality is for most players, it's on the forehand. I think that as we get older, the backhand, if you want to top the backhand all day long, it's just going to wear you out. But the forehand's a little bit easier to do that on, and I found that on my forehand, I've got an opportunity now to swing, right? Rather than just kind of roll it up there and make it safe. I've got an opportunity not only on the return, but also on a standard rally ball to actually do some damage. And the damage doesn't have to be to a corner. The damage can be, and we've talked about this forever, but the damage can be right up the middle, and that's not the point I want to make. The point I want to make, guys, is that you've got to find your threshold. You've got to up the power quotient to that point where whatever stroke technique you've got, and the better stroke technique you've got, in fact, let's put it this way, the less stroke technique you've got, you can actually find that spot. If you've got a lot of complicated crap going on, man, it's hard to find, well, where's that swing speed? Where's that point of contact? And so for me, my epiphany was, let me just finish real quick. And then for me, the epiphany was, I want to continue to work on my forehand, the framework that we talk about, because I want to make sure that I'm doing less in terms of setup.
Right.
And I'm doing a little more in terms of racket speed. It doesn't mean being strong. It doesn't mean muscling. It could actually mean just the opposite. It could mean relaxing the hand, because I think we get a little jumpy sometimes and we go, we gotta squeeze it just a bit. And so it's finding that that threshold of what's not dumbing it down and what's not out of control.
Right. Where's that place where control and power comfortably live kind of side by side in the same neighborhood? And then when you take risk, as you start to push the risk factor, pace factor, how quickly does the bottom drop out of your control, right?
Yeah,
For some players, it's really quick.
Yeah.
It really just bottom drops out. But if you can maintain, you should be able to maintain control as you step on the accelerator. And then there's a point where now it just gaps really big. But if we're talking about, taking an extra 5% risk and we only drop 1%, or so on the control factor, well, now we're getting down to where's that good safe target that I can really feel like I can unload on?
Right.
And so that's when those two things start to merge together and we start to really build some big confidence in swing freedom.
Right.
Because I feel like I'm letting the horse out of the barn and it's landing in. So that just, builds more confidence in your swing there, and it just gets better from there. So that's really where, what you're talking about is that where do those things, happily reside together, and when and how far can I push the envelope before the bottom drops out?
Well, and I think a lot of it has to do with how good is your stroke technique. and the better stroke technique you have, and that's kind of a weird term, better stroke. It's the more simple stroke technique you have.
Right. Efficiency.
Efficiency means that it's repeatable, and I think you can more tangibly find, well, here's my threshold.
Right.
I go back to this thing. If you've got if you got a weird grip, if you got a weird swing shape, if you're so locked on the term top spin and the thought of, well, if I get more, that's better. Well,
right.
The more you try to grip and rip, the less. I mean, the bottom's just going to fall out.
Right.
So you and I need to do. We need to do a course on forehand technique. And I think it needs to be based on this topic that we're talking about, is how do we help players go out there and find what's that threshold where they can consistently hit with enough pace that it inflicts some pain. We're not talking about hitting it so well that it's a winner every time, but we're talking about inflicting a little bit of pain. And to me, it's more like, can you still do this when it's 4-all in the third?
Right.
And if you can do that, I'm telling you, most of the other guys go, oh, he's still doing it. And so let's, when I get back, and I think, that we're going to spend some time in November down in the desert.
Yeah.
Let's put that course together, because I think that would be really helpful for our players. And I think that they'd have a lot of fun.
I think so too. I think getting an understanding out there of some of the basic elements about paring things away. Yeah. And what are the elements that need to be there that actually allow you to continue to create pace with control. And if you want to, impart more spin, it doesn't require a complete regrip and this, kind of violent swing path.
Right.
So I think that'd be a great thing to be able to offer, our gold ballers out there, that give them something really tangible to sink their teeth into, that isn't a complicated 4-hour course. That's just, we get down to the nitty gritty and let's get to it.
4 hours, complicated. Let's see how much information we can dispense out there. Let's see how good we can try to make ourselves appear to be.
How quickly can I get their eyes to glaze over and drool? That's the mark.
Okay, that's the mark. All right. Well, we promise not to do that. All right, Jeff. Cool, man. Well, listen, I'm really excited to get home tomorrow. Been gone. I'm not the best traveler in the world, and I'm certainly not the best traveler in the world when I'm by myself. I much prefer to have my wife with me. She was here last year. Mai was here last year, but she said, "Hey, babe, I love Umag. Had a great time last year, but hey, watching you old guys. I mean, I love watching you guys play, but I mean, frankly, watching a bunch of old farts.
Oh boy, look at the time. Oh boy, look at the time.
Geez, you guys have been out here for 8.5 hours today. This has been a wonderful day for me. So anyway, she stayed home, and I said, totally get it.
She's baking me cookies.
That's
She's baking
true.
me cookies. Damn it.
Damn it. Yeah, no. We actually talked about the fact that I guess you sent her a Facebook message or something, and about, it was like 3 hours ahead in the Eastern time zone, which was like 7:20 your time in the morning, and the next thing you know is bing, it comes right back. It's 4:20 in the Pacific Coast.
Well, no, the message I sent was last year when I was down there for the Wilson, staying at your place, and we were talking about this cookie recipe.
Oh.
And then she pinged me at 7:20 in the morning, and it was like, what the hell are you doing up? She goes, I'm going to make these cookies for you right now.
Oh, God. That's funny. All right, man. Well, that's her deal lately. That's her deal. She's been up bright and early. All right. Well, listen, I'm traveling home tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. And, guys, thanks for hanging out with us again today. Before I forget, Jeff and I are always offering a free private coaching call. The three of us, one-on-one, right? And all we ask, you bring that one thing in your game right now that's really kind of bugging you. Maybe you're not quite figuring out. Could be stroke technique, could be tactics or strategy, could be mental, could be physical, whatever it is. We'll go 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever we got to do. and see if we can't set you on the right path to get the ultimate result that you want, whether it's singles and or doubles. So way to get onto that free call, just go over to goldballhunting.com. What you'll see there is a little dialogue box. Just drop in a first name and email address, click the button, and you'll get access to two very cool things. Number one, at the very top of this episode, I mentioned skill level range. Jeff and I did a video months ago about how to reduce your skill level range. We're going to give that to you at no charge. And you'll also get immediate access to our online calendar scheduler where you can cherry pick a date and time that works best for you. With that, Jeff, what do we want the fine folks to do right now?
Like us, share us, please subscribe. Let us know what you think down below. iTunes and Stitcher, rate and review.
Yeah, you're such a drama boy. Look at that. All right, guys. With that said, guys, get out there today, wherever that is. Help someone else have a great day. Jeff will figure out a way to do this tomorrow.
Can't wait.